But speaking of growth, we are asking this morning what Dubai's rising population and the world's revenge tourism mean for the short-term letting business here in Dubai. Fortunately, we've got a new report to answer that question. AirDXB has just released its Q2 industry review. We love a set of numbers, and we are joined by the company's Head of Business Development, Louis Bowers. Louis, it's lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, and looking forward to having a chat with you guys about this.
Well, we like numbers, we like research, and we like people who get it over to us. So let's look at the overall occupancy numbers first. I'm not going to steal your thunder. Tell us, compared to Q1, how Q2 went.
So Q2 did see a bit of a drop in numbers. However, with the short-term management side of things, that is a very cyclical way we go about the business. So what we actually saw was a drop in about 55% in occupancy rates across the board. Having said that, though, it was actually up 3% compared to Q2 of last year. So what we've seen with the dropping occupancy rates is, as long as you do manage the property prices, how they're going, that the occupancy rates will stay a bit more stable.
Why do you think we saw that slightly slower Q2?
We saw a slightly slower Q2 purely because of the summer months. Naturally, guests will drop with tourism. Having said that, compared to last year with Ramadan, we actually saw a 19% increase from the population of tourism coming into Dubai.
So talk to us. We've got the tourism numbers. Richard mentioned them. What were you saying, 8.5?
8.5 million, yeah. Sheikh Hamdan, the Crown Prince, has tweeted a number of economic data points. So, yeah, 8.5 million in the first half of this year alone.
But Dubai gets lots of tourists. It's not necessarily a headline. What we're really interested in is what the population growth means for the short-term letting business as well. Have you got any way of knowing what we're seeing in the way of new residents coming in rather than tourists?
New residents, we've seen quite a bit of an influx. I think with Sheikh Hamdan did mention that it was about 20% increase compared to the last year. I think with the geopolitical unrest elsewhere, a lot of people are actually looking at moving to Dubai, especially with the golden visa. The opportunity to have that visa with a 10-year residency whilst purchasing certain properties really has seen the massive influx into the market.
What does it mean for the short-term letting sector, though? Are you able to see people staying for longer who might be those moving in, staying for a couple of months rather than a couple of weeks?
So with the short-term letting sector, it's actually a bit of a mix of the two. We do see people which are coming in, staying for 5 to 7 days, get a better understanding of what it's like to live in Dubai. Having said that, you've also got a number of corporates who are sending out their executives, who are looking at expanding their offices in Dubai, looking at those sort of longer stays of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
At what point is a short-term let not a short-term let?
We'd probably say around the 3-month mark. Beyond that, that's when you're actually looking at, I'd say, medium to long stays. So I'd say between a week to 3 months.
Are you seeing any change in the average length of time that people are staying for?
No, not particularly. I think the average length of time we've been seeing on, especially AirDXB, is around 7 days, is what the predominant amount of people are staying for.
So talk to us about some of the other numbers that have come out of this report. What we're seeing happen, you mentioned the rates there. What are we seeing happen to average rates?
So the average rates through Q1 were around 891 dirhams. Now, through Q2, they do drop down to about 611 dirhams. Now, this is naturally reflective not just on the short-term market. We also see this with hotel rooms as well for people looking to stay. The reason rates do drop and the way, especially AirDXB, are more competitive is by dropping these rates, we make sure that the occupancy rates actually do stay high. Through June last month, we're at 96.7%. That's purely because we are very proactive in the way we manage the rates.
What's stock like? We've just had a glut of real estate reports who are all talking about tight stock for sale. How tight is stock in your market?
Stock's been increasing massively. As we saw this year, there's been over 61,000 transactions on the sale and purchase side of things. With that, what we've seen reflective is around 20% increase in stock over at AirDXB. So we see a number of people who are actually turning around and going, right, we don't want to be tied up in long-term contracts, don't want to be tied up in contractual obligations. Let's go to the short term where it's a lot more flexible.
Rents are high, though. Is it not becoming more attractive for people to take that short-term stock and think, if I can lock someone in at a punchy rent for a year, I might do so?
To an extent, yes. Having said that, we are seeing the property rent prices are decreasing slightly In the marina alone, they've gone down by 5,000 dirhams on average. Having said that, yes, you can get, very good rents at the moment, but typically with short term, you're looking about 20-30% increase in comparison on the rents. With as well, if you are looking at selling the property at any given point in time, you do have that flexibility to do so as an empty apartment. What we've actually seen with our investment advisory firm is a 20% increase in sales price if your apartment's actually free as opposed to being locked in with a tenant.
Right. So whilst people are selling a house, waiting for the right moment to sell a house, they're putting it on the short-term market rather than just leave it completely empty.
Exactly, yes. They can make money for, let's say, a month, 2 months whilst they're waiting for that buyer, as opposed to it just be sat there, not making any return on investment.
What about the increase in owner-occupiers, which is the other big thing that have come out of the real estate reports? I know Better Homes, for example, mentioned it on Friday. What does that mean for a certain type of stock, the 1 and 2 bedroom apartment, for example?
So we've seen massive influx, like I said, on the 20% stock we've had an increase. The studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms are probably our most, let's say, important, our most ones which are being listed online. So I'd say this is a huge increase on that front.
Also interested to see in your report a section where you talk about some of the off-plan projects at the moment in which you think are going to be best for short-term lets. Are people buying and getting into the off-plan game with the specific idea, the specific game of putting it in the short-term market?
Yeah, I would say we've had about 30 or 40 people over the past couple of months actually coming to us saying, look, we've actually bought into these off-plan developments ranging from Meydan Riviera all the way down to Dubai Harbour, saying, look, we're getting this property actually handed over in the next 2 or 3 months. Can we actually put it with you on the short-term market? We get it listed early, so then as and when it actually goes live, we're immediately got bookings for there. So we're seeing a lot of people coming to off-plan in just before handover to then give us the properties to go live.
Is what makes a good short-term let changing? Does it have to be, for example, sea view?
No, not at all. It's a complete change. It really depends on where you're actually looking at. So yes, you've got people coming over in JBR, Dubai Marina, looking at the sea view. Having said that, you've got also World Trade Center downtown. You've got huge amounts of events which are coming up where people want to be actually situated around this. Then you also have an influx of people actually coming on golf holidays. They want to turn around and go, right, where can we actually stay on their golf courses where we can get easy and to and from.
And how are you booked up for the weeks around COP?
Around what, sorry?
COP.
COP. So obviously we're looking at about 80,000 delegates coming through just for COP. At the moment, we are seeing more and more inquiries coming through for them. The average stay for that is looking around 3 to 4 days.
Is it booked solid? What does your projection look like?
Projections through there should be at around 96-97%. We're looking at something very similar to what we saw with the Qatar FIFA World Cup as well. A lot of people coming over, staying for that period of time. With those 80,000 delegates, not just AirDXB, but I think the wider hotel community as well will be full.
And does it push the rates up during that time?
Naturally, yes. Like I said, short-term renters are seasonal, so obviously investors want to take advantage of the busier periods and obviously increase rent based off the back of demand.
Super quick, what could the COP bump look like in percentage terms for rates?
Hard to say at the moment. We'd probably see about a sort of 25-30% increase in rates on average.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Louis Bowers is the Head of Business Development at AirDXB.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.